Renegade is what happens when two ordinary friends dare to practice the lost art of conversation to better understand what it means to be a runner, a human. Should we follow convention and play by the rules, or would it be better to trust our guts? Each episode you'll learn from the experts, the underdogs, the elites and non-elites, those doing big things, all in that curious quest of being just a little bit better tomorrow. In a world of runners, be a renegade.
Todd, before we get rolling here, tell us about what you did last weekend.
What I did last weekend. I had the best weekend of all time. If you follow me on Ultra Marathon Man, I shared a lot of videos, a lot of photos. We traveled to New York City. I was blessed and grateful that I got my ballot pulled to run I think it's 52nd, my third New York City Marathon. And what an event. That city is full of energy. But I got so much. Like, we could do an entire episode because it all started on it all started on Thursday. We flew in and we got in to see Jimmy Fallon. That was fantastic. And I was able to see how they pull a whole show together. And I was sitting there laughing, having a great time.
So
but I couldn't help but think about, hey, this is how we kind of produce our podcast a little bit. So that was great. And then went to the package pickup, visited with our friends at Ultra Running. Shout out, met some our new friends, talked to them about Ultra Kyle's episode. And I put in a good word for Tara Dower, Candy Mama, to get the Candy Mama Ultra Running shoes. I put in a good word. We'll see.
We want to see those on people's feet. So
Yep.
That is our goal, this podcast. Tara, thanks again for coming on.
They seem very receptive to it. It almost seemed like they were already working on it, maybe. That's the secret. I don't know.
How could they not? How could they not, right?
And then, Mark, I saw Rich Roll post on his Instagram that he was going to be on the On Running store and between 1 and 3 on Saturday. So I'm like, I'll head down there. Maybe I'll run into him. I met the On Running crew.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did. I met the On Running crew and talked to them for a little bit. And they said, you know what? Rich is upstairs getting ready to interview Sintavesi, the Italian Olympic record holder.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. So I got upstairs. Jen and I went up there. We watched a 45-minute interview. It was just like listening and watching Rich's podcast in person. It was fantastic. And then we met him. I shook his hand. I told him thank you. He's my online mentor. Talked for a little bit. It was awesome.
So that sounds like quite the weekend. I don't know how you're going to top that.
I could have ended right there. I didn't have to do anything more. But then I got to run the marathon, and that was unbelievable. I met some great people on the way to the marathon. Because if anyone's ever thinking about doing the New York City Marathon, you'll underestimate the effort it actually takes to get to the start line. And it's basically a marathon just to get to the start line. So you wake up early, about 6 a.m. I was up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. train or subway down into South Ferry, hopped on the ferry to Staten Island, hopped on a bus, got to the village, and just hung out, just vibed on the island. It was sunny. I found a nice spot. I put my yoga mat down. I just lied in the sun, ate some food. And you know what? I put in a lot of the nuggets that we've been talking about over the last year into the race. I took more energy or more aid than you could ever imagine. I think I did 9 or 10 of my Marentette gels. And I did that technique that we were talking with Alex about, the David Roach technique, where you just bypass the tongue. You don't get sick. You don't get full. I could have took 20 Marentettes. I don't think I needed 20. I don't even think I needed 10. I wasn't moving that fast. But it was great. And there it is. There it is. I wore it proudly. Metal Monday, walking around the city.
You got some pretty neat, you picked up some nice swag or gear, all that stuff. I noticed your coats and shirts and all that good stuff. So cheers, Todd.
They had some great stuff.
What a great run. And kudos to you for making the Renegade podcast proud, and representing.
I handed out a lot of business cards. It was going to be
one of us. It was going to be one of us to run it, and I'm glad it was you.
Well, I think I found out, Mark, we actually don't need to run them. We just got to go and hang out with everybody because you meet so many interesting people. And we'll talk about that on a future show because I wanted intentionally not to like be insular. I wanted to like talk to a lot of people. So I hopped on the subway. I met a very interesting gentleman from Sweden. And you just make quick 5-minute connections and learn people. A lot of people running their first New York City Marathon, so I gave them a little bit of advice. I met up with the Path Project crew. We had a personal best crew meetup run on Saturday. It was fantastic.